Together we are counting down the worst scandals of the Obama administration. Welcome back to The Independent. And on our countdown, we have arrived at number 6. President Obama likes to take credit for ending 2 wars, but since taking office, he's been using regular military force in at least 3 countries the U.S. is not at war with. Numbers vary on how many people have been killed by drones since Obama took office, and the administration has been deliberately cagey about what constitutes an enemy combatant, how they determine if someone is an imminent threat, or even when it's okay to kill American citizens abroad. We're not quite sure. There's little congressional oversight, and some think that for every bad guy we pop in Yemen, we create 20 more. The president's supporters say drones are better than boots on the ground, but is that a false choice? Benghazi. That actually takes the 5th spot on our countdown. What started as a plea for more security and a dangerous diplomatic post ended in bloodshed and death. Was the cover-up worse than the crime? What difference does it make?
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
You know what difference it makes? It was neither of those choices. Oh, but you had such a hard time with your dad. All right, Lieutenant Colonel and Fox News strategic analyst Ralph Peters is with us. He has broken Benghazi down into 3 parts. And Lieutenant Colonel Peters, welcome back to The Independence.
Hey, great to speak to you again, Kennedy.
Wonderful. Well, let's start with the first part, the plea for better security. What went wrong?
Well, again, it was 3 parts. And the first part was the build-up to that anniversary of September 11th, when our military actually offered the State Department more Marines and soldiers for security in Libya, and the State Department turned them down, preferring to entrust the safety of our diplomats and other personnel to local militias. Just absolutely stunning, and an example of the anti-military feeling that prevails at the State Department. But that was actually the least of the 3 parts.
And what's part number 2 for you?
Well, part number 2 is the actual event itself, when we did not do everything we could to help the besieged diplomats and personnel in Benghazi. Now, you can argue in retrospect whether or not we could have gotten there in time. That is not the point. When Americans are under attack anywhere in the world, you do every doggone thing you can to save them, and we didn't. The Obama administration sat on its hands wondering how to spin the story.
And the third part of your breakdown, of course, is the cover-up. And that's what we've taken issue with here, maybe for other reasons. But what did you think was the worst aspect of that cover-up?
Well, the worst aspect wasn't actually the lie about it being caused by a video. That was an example of an administration in an absolute panic mode because the president was campaigning. He just said he defeated al-Qaeda. Islamist terrorism wasn't there. The real tragedy and travesty was they stuck to the story. They just couldn't admit they'd screwed up. They couldn't admit they'd made a mistake. And so even now, today, you've got people in the administration insisting that there's no scandal here. When the president and all the president's men and women consciously and knowingly lie to the American people and sustain that lie without national security purposes and reasons, that is a genuine scandal and a betrayal of trust on a fundamental level.
Ralph, the content of the lie is pretty interesting, too. The fact that it was about a video, and to our lights here, you're basically throwing free speech under the bus. You were giving a heckler's veto preemptively to people who would want to freak out and target Americans and sort of ennobling those ignoble claims. Does that worry you, the fact that it was a First Amendment activity that was blamed directly for this?
Well, certainly that's a part of it, but with so many of these scandals, there's layer upon layer. I mean, let me make it clear, I'm not a Republican. There are domestic issues on which I agree with the Obama administration, ranging from the environment to women's rights. But the fundamental duty of a commander-in-chief is to protect America and Americans. And that is where this administration is a comprehensive and, I fear, catastrophic failure. So, yes, the abuse of the First Amendment, riding roughshod over free speech, pretending it's a video when they knew it wasn't, Again, a fundamental problem with this administration is everything is political. Everything is spin. And Obama has forgotten why we have presidents. And by the way, why we also have a Congress and Supreme Court.
All right, so let me ask you, we have about 10 seconds left. How far-reaching will this scandal be, and will it tank Hillary's presidential run?
Well, it's going to impair her run somewhat. It won't stop her. And on her book tour right now, Kennedy, you've probably heard it, she's comparing her involvement to Ronald Reagan's in the Beirut embassy bombing 3 decades ago. Well, you know what? Reagan, there's more bloodshed in Beirut, but President Reagan didn't lie about it.
Very good. Ralph Peters, thank you so much for helping us out with the countdown.
Thank you.
The judge joins us next. He has helped us put the list together of the president's top 9 scandals, and still on the way. We've got the VA and the NSA, and one lonely soldier wanders into the countdown very shortly. Where does Bergdahl fall? Stay here.